Hey guys, Barn Door here. We're back after a long break to bring you guys another Havoc Demon Hunter guide. It's great, feels great to be making content after taking a little bit of time off. But we're back now. And real quick, I do just want to let you guys know the purpose of these videos and everything is to help people, give you guys a little bit of guide, gearing, talent, just tips and tricks, right? So that's the whole reason, right? Let's get into it. So right here, you can see I did wait a little bit to post the video, guys. I wanted to play the first week of the season. I wanted to get a feel for the Demon Hunter, kind of see how it feels. Of course, break off some rust, right? And then be able to get a little bit of rating, right? I got to 2,400 in the first week. Of course, Demon Hunter is in a really good spot right now. I'm sure most of you guys already know that. Now, there may be nerfs or maybe changes that come in throughout. Of course, I'll put out different updates and everything. But as it sits right now, I think we're number 5 in North America. So yeah, that's awesome. We've had a chance to play it. Demon Hunter feels amazing right now. So if you're watching this and you're re-rolling Demon Hunter, or you're watching this and it's your alt, or you're just coming back after a long time, now is the time to definitely play. So let's start out with gear. So first and foremost, of course, this is all PvP gear, right? We're not talking about PvE or anything like that. Let me take you through, right? Starting with how do you start, right? Once you get into this season, the first thing you want to do is you want to go through, you want to buy full honor gear. You want to get full honor gear so that way you give yourself a big boost for that PvP item level, of course, right? And then, of course, one of the things you want to do is you want to get those 8 Trophy of Strifes for doing the Spark quest that you get near the PvP vendor. That will give you a chance to upgrade the weapon that you get from the bloody tokens all the way, so that one becomes, that 486 item level in PvP. So you want to have that, and then of course the other weapon is the one that you get, right, for the honor right now, right? But again, this is first week. You will be getting more pieces of gear, more conquest, more tier pieces, of course. Demon Hunter 4 set is pretty decent. 2 set's really good as well. So let's kind of, again, run through the gear. The helmet, of course, we've got is, this is the tier helmet. You get this once you get that 1,600, right? In the first week or whenever you play it, you want to make sure you get 1,600 rating in any of the brackets, so that way it gives you a free tier piece, right? And then you just take it over. I bought the helmet. A lot of top-end Demon Hunters are buying the helmet right now. That's kind of what you want to do. Of course, for the neck piece, we have the honor neck piece, right? From there, you want to make sure you get those 3 different gems enchanted on it. Again, one of the things you want to know for this season, right? If you take a look, I'm at 63% mastery, just kind of sitting here. Mastery is huge. Main stat mastery. You definitely want a main stat mastery, and then of course have versatility a little bit as the second stat, and then also sprinkle in a little bit of crit and stuff like that. Of course, we've got the honor gear for the shoulders, honor gear for the back piece. The crafted item that I made, guys, with the mastery embellishment. Let me say this one more time. The mastery embellishment. The crafted item I made was the lifebound chest piece. You can see it right here. Make sure you do your quest to get it to the 489 in PvP. So make sure you get your spark, you get your mastery embellishment, you make sure it's first mast, all that good stuff. From there, of course, right, you've got your honor arm pieces. We already went through the weapons, right? You've got your honor gear for the gloves, honor gear for the belt. Mine shows blue. Yours will probably show green. I just upgraded all of it because I upgraded it with like flight stones. Just so you guys know, that is one change that's happening. You upgrade everything with flight stones this season. After that, we have the tier legs, right? So the way you get these is, of course, you get that conquest. Right, I think the cap for the first week comes to 1,350, right? For 875 conquest, you go buy your conquest legs. Then you go take it to the catalyst, guys. You take it to the catalyst, convert it to tier. Bada bing, bada boom. In the first week, you got your 2 set, which, if you read it, Blade Dance automatically triggers throw glaive on your primary target for 100% damage, and each slash has a 50% chance to throw glaive at an enemy for 35% damage. That's big, right? Especially anybody who plays the Master of the Glade talent, but also applying that bleed on there as well. It's really good. It does a good amount of damage, right? Your 4-set throw glaive reduces the remaining cooldown of the hunt, which is huge. By the way, anybody who played Demon Hunter last season, the hunt just really didn't do that much damage, but this season it pumps. As of right now, it pumps, right? So the hunt's damage over time effect lasts 6 seconds longer. Also, 2-set, 4-set, really good for Demon Hunter this season. Other than that, we've got the honor gear for the boots. We've got the honor gear for the ring. Right now, just for the first week, we started off with the crafted, because we wanted to have, right? We wanted to have the mastery, and we wanted to have the 2 different types of rings, right? So we wanted to be able to have both signets. So we got the mastery and we have the crit, right? So from there, of course, you've got your medallion. Of course, you've got the insignia of alacrity. That's what you want to go with as that second trinket. Overall, the gearing, guys, you want to make sure it's gemmed and enchanted. Like I said, it's the first week into the season. I'm sure there's probably somebody who's going to come into the comments and let me know I missed an enchant somewhere or something. I apologize in advance. But, okay, so that's where we are as far as gear. Let's take a look at the spec. All right. So if we pull this up, guys, this is what we're looking at right now for our primary build, right? I'm just going to start by going through, right? Vengeful Retreat. I'm not going to go through all of these, guys. I'm just going to touch on a couple things. Vengeful Retreat, moving all snares, all of that. You want to have Vengeful Retreat. It's a really good generator. Also, you want to make sure, in case you ever do play with that Glide talent as well, Glimpse talent, you want to make sure you have that. A couple other good things to note if I go all the way down. You want to make sure you got Chaos Nova. You want to make sure you spec into that. Fellblade, definitely. You want to make sure you got Fellblade. You've got your Rush of Chaos, which is reducing the cooldown of Metamorphosis. We now have short meta, which is great, especially in solo shuffle, right? And it lets you get more goes faster, right? Because most solo shuffles, again, they only last 2 minutes, right? They're really, really not, not as long as the threes games go, on average at least. But short meta, that's a great thing for us now. You want to go into the hunt, of course, absolutely make sure you get the hunt, and then Elysian Decree. Now, Elysian Decree is a huge damage dealer right now. I do think that this will get nerfed at some point, but as of right now, this thing, I've seen it crit for 300k, right? And you can put it down, and it has a little bit of a delayed effect, so you can put it down, start your burst, and you could keep going, and it really does a good amount of damage. So, by the way, just so everybody knows, I'm going to have a link to this build, or like the little code, down in the description. So if you want this build, go down to the description right now, make sure copy and paste it. It will be there for you. I'm not going to go through everything. I'm just going to touch on some key points here. Moving on over, this is one thing that took a little bit of time for me to get used to, not having chaotic transformation. This is one thing. There are a couple other builds where you can change it up and you can say spec out of something else to where you go into chaotic transformation, to where, of course, when you meta, it resets the cooldown. But as of right now, just the talent choices. If we were to come down and take a look at it, right, you've got Netherwalk. Netherwalk is good, especially for a lot of teams right now. I personally play Netherwalk a lot. A lot of other Demon Hunters do not. Desperate Instincts, right, kind of I call Auto Blur. Auto Blur is great against something like an RMP. Especially, if you get caught 100% in a kidney and they try to, one-shot you in that kidney, right? You want to make sure, you got the auto blur going off if you can't rely on your healer, right? So personally, I like to play Netherwalk much more. It's just nice to have that immunity to be able to run around, maybe reverse your healer, that sort of stuff. But a lot of other Demon Hunters do play with Desperate Instincts. So that's something that's kind of left up to your preference. I would recommend, if you're more of a newer player, a little, maybe this is your first time on DH, maybe go with Netherwalk. It feels a little bit easier to get a handle of. Other than that, really, right here, this is going to be the bread and butter of the build, right? It's called Inertia. When empowered by Unbound Chaos, Fell Rush increases your damage done by 18%, right? So what this means is You're basically, the way you want to do your burst is you want to Immo Aura, and then Fel Rush, right? And then Immo Aura, Fel Rush, and then go into your burst rotation, right? Now, of course, whenever it's convenient for you, of course. But another big thing to say is we are playing with Isolated Prey. It was a PvP talent. Some of you guys may have remembered. However, it's now into the talent build, so you want to make sure you've got that. Now, going into this bottom row, a Fire Inside, that's a great passive, of course, right? 1 additional charge for the Immo Aura. That's what lets us do that burst rotation. And we are playing Essence Break. There was a lot of stuff going on. Essence Break is good, Essence Break is bad. Well, as far as this season goes, guys, Essence Break is, you want to do it 100%. Now we're going to go right over here. Any means necessary, right? That's definitely one thing you want to have. And then Fel Barrage, right? You saw it on the thumbnail. Fel Barrage is huge. We're going to get into kind of what this looks like and how much damage it can go once we get into the second half after this, right? But Fel Barrage, one thing I want to point out, right, is chaos damage to all enemies within 12 yards lasting 8 seconds or until Fury is depleted, right? So you start this Fel Barrage with like 2 Fury, it's going to get depleted like that, right? You're not going to go the full 8 seconds. This does a massive amount of damage right now. So you want it to last the whole 8 seconds. So the best burst you can do is to actually hold on to all of your resources, right? And hold on to all your resource spenders as well, right? Or gainers. Right, so that way, when you go through, you hit Fel Barrage, then you can hit Immo Aura again, then you can hit Fel Blade, right? So that way you have the whole 8 seconds, because the damage it does is insane. But one big thing that has really had a lot of people talking this season as well is right here, this talent, Chaotic Disposition. Now it's a passive, but it basically is just increasing DH's damage insane. I do think that this might get nerfed at some point, but as of right now, this is definitely a must. Again, there's a couple iterations of this build. As it sits right here, one thing that some Demon Hunters may not be used to is if you come in, right, and you're trying to press either Elysian Decree or you're trying to press the Sigil Flame, you have to actually manually place it on the ground, right? You can't just like target something and press it. It won't actually go. You have to do it. That takes a little bit of time to get used to, but that's kind of the way we're playing the spec right now. So lastly, just to talk about the PvP talents as well, right? What I typically play, as you can see here, is I always play Blood Moon, the passive healing, the double consume magic effect. It's just really good. All enemies within 8 yards, right? And as far as like the amount of healing that you really do get, and especially in like solo shuffle or threes or something, sometimes your healers CC'd. I've had plenty of games where I'm able to stay alive just by having purges set up, right? And you don't have to sit there and, purge and just eat the one soul at a time, right? You can be full health, have a purge from somebody who's, kind of not right next to you, and leave that soul sitting right there. And then when you're dying, right, you get another purge, and then you get 2 souls, and you get all that healing all at once. I mean, you can use some skill in it. You can play around it, right? Chaotic Imprint, definitely to increase that damage, right? And now it says increases damage taken from a random school, right? The thing is Chaos will always work with Arcane and Nature, and like every single school of magic, Chaos is everything. Right? So it's going to increase your damage by 10%. Now the last one, I do change this up from time to time. The reverse is, you want to have reverse almost all the time, but say for example you're up against an Aflock, right? An Affliction Warlock. You don't want to have reverse because you're going to kill yourself with reverse, right? Because when you press reverse, it dispels the UA, and then when that glows up, that blows up in your face, right? So instead of reverse magic, sometimes I will take Glimpse. Also, in certain comps, like where there's nothing to reverse, when you're queuing into, I don't know, for example, like a DH Warrior, right? You don't really, DH Warrior Monk, there's not really much for you to reverse there. Glimpse is a better choice, especially if they're training you. You want to have that little CC immunity. You want to have the 35% damage reduction. But other than that, very, very sparingly, but sometimes I will take Detainment. mostly in solo shuffle, to be honest, just because I don't trust everybody else's CC. But Detainment I played with. Rain from Above is decent in RBGs right now if you have the right comp, the right scenario, and everything. That's really all I play with. Like I said, again, Glimpse can be really good against something like an RMP as well. But it's all situation dependent. But yeah, that's where we are. So like I said, we're gonna get into a little bit of gameplay, and then we'll get into some clips here in a second, right? But if you take a look at it, right, the big thing I was telling you about is, look, you want to make sure Fell Barrage is lasting at least 8 seconds to get the maximum amount that you can out of that burst. It is so much damage, right? So let me give you kind of an example. You want to make sure you're saving, either like an Emo Aura or a Sigil Flame or whatever it might be, so that way you're able to keep gaining resource as you're spending it with Fell Barrage to make sure it lasts for the full 8 seconds, right? So let's just real scenario here, right? Emo Aura, right? Fell Rush, Fell Blade in, right? You drop it, right? Another Emo Aura, right? All of this, and then bam, right? That's almost over 400k. I mean, these are BFA dummies and stuff, but that's kind of how to keep it going. You want to make sure to save your resource generators for that time. Another burst that Demon Hunters have, so that's one burst, right? That's one go, but another go that Demon Hunters have as well is you can have your Elysian Decree Essence Break go, right? So the best way to kind of chain these things together, again, is anytime you're going to do Essence Break, you want to make sure you get into meta first, right? So come in, right? You have your I-Beam, right? Drop it, right? Then you go with Essence Break, Death Sweep, Chaos Strike, Chaos Strike, Chaos Strike, right? And then, all right, so again, like 300k right there, right? Again, like I said, these are BFA dummies, right? So don't hold the numbers against me. But those are a couple different bursts, right? Just on dummies here. Next, we're going to get into a little bit of gameplay, go over, some commentary for there, and hey, let's get it. So guys, we got a couple clips of some actual gameplay from threes this season. This is us kind of going through fighting some decent teams, and so right here, I'm going to show you kind of the craziness of Demon Hunter Burst right now. Of course, we caught all three of them all stacked up. I'm going to show you, we're going to go through, right? We get a Chaos Nova, and right here, this clip is just to show you kind of the craziness of the Fell Barrage Burst right now, right? But also, keep in mind, like we said, you want to use those resource generators as you're doing the Fell Barrage Burst to get it to go through the full 8 seconds. And this is what it looks like if you see this, right? So you can go through, we got Fell Barrage coming, we got a generator, we pop Emo Aura, right? We get some big damage out, and of course, here you can see we throw out a Hunt as well, and we're able to get a Pain Sup, right? We're able to use that momentum, of course, and get that Turtle, right? And then, of course, we immediately swap over to Vanguards and grab that Divine Shield, right? So that's just kind of a little bit of a clip to show you how to do the burst, how to keep yourself, like your Fury, going the entire time, but also, the sheer amount of damage that was coming out at that moment, right? And so the next clip I want to go through, right, is going to show you guys a little bit of when I told you the Hunt was buffed a lot earlier. The Hunt is crazy right now, right? It does a lot of damage, and you can actually use Hunt, as an execute, right? And so right here, this is a good example of that. Again, we got some more gameplay coming through. We're trying to do everything we can. We kick the healer there, right? Making sure that we're Demon Hunter, you got enough mobility, you can kick the healer, right? We get another Pain Sup right there. We're going to swap here in a second over to Vanguards, right? But right here, little Fell Barrage Burst coming out, right? But as they go to run away, right? Little Hunt execute right there, right? So you can absolutely use Hunt as an execute, right? As a way to, because when somebody's dying, they're going to run away from you either way. That's just natural, right? But that's another thing, another little bit of advice for you guys is on top of that Fell Barrage Burst, on top of the Essence Break Burst you have, you can use Hunt in there, but you can also use Hunt as a gap closer. But lastly, you can also use Hunt as a good execute as well. And then lastly, I want to show you a good clip here. You can burst through your burst. You can channel it all at once, right? And so here's kind of a good clip to kind of show you. This is again another game that threes that we played this season right here in this week, right? So as you're popping Fel Barrage, right? So I'm about to do it here in a minute, right? But as you're going through and popping Fel Barrage, you can sit there and attack the whole way. You don't have to just sit there and Fel Barrage the whole time and not press any buttons. No, right? You can sit there if you think you're going to get a kill in the Fel Barrage, right? Even though it's going to be draining your resource a lot quicker, right? You can sit there and try to burst, and try to, do your Death Sweep, your Chaos Strike, all of that while you're doing your Fel Barrage, right? So, for example, right here, we're popping our meta. We're going for a little bit of damage. We're going for the Fel Barrage here in a minute, all right? And then right here, when we see that there's a kill, we pop it, and then we keep damaging all the way through, right? And then we're able to pull a kill out. I actually went for a Hunt Execute there as well, but we didn't need it. But again, that's just a little bit of a couple clips to show you. That's it, right? I hope this is helpful. Hope you went through, learned a little bit. Feel free to comment if you liked it. If you didn't like it, of course, go ahead and comment. If there's any sort of updates, talent changes, stuff like that, we will either add it to the comments or maybe make a new video as well. But look out for new content in the future. And of course, check us out over at twitch.tv/barndoor, right? Hope to see you guys in the next stream.